Lately, I've been eating overnight oats for breakfast almost every morning during the work week. For a lot of us out there, weekday mornings can be tough. I often used to find myself just grabbing a granola bar or a muffin while I'm scrambling to get ready for work, or scrambling to hit the snooze button. So having a filling, healthy, and tasty breakfast ready to grab and go in the mornings has been a huge game changer for me. These overnight oats give me the energy to kickstart my day, power through my mornings, and keep me feeling full until lunch. And because they taste so good, they give me something to look forward to when I wake up. They're super easy to make ahead of time, and because they last for about 5 days in the fridge, I like to meal prep a big batch on Sundays. It takes me just a few minutes and I'll have breakfast ready for the full work week. Now, what exactly are overnight oats? They're basically a no-cook method of making oatmeal by soaking raw oats with milk in the fridge. After just a few hours, the oats will have soaked up all of the liquid and softened into a delicious, creamy consistency, more creamy and dense than just a regular bowl of oatmeal. The great thing about overnight oats is you can use all sorts of toppings, different fruits and berries, nuts and seeds, nut butters, even chocolate or coconut. There's a huge variety of different flavor combinations you can make so that you don't get bored eating the same thing every day. Today I'm going to show you 6 different ways to make overnight oats. These are some of my personal favorite flavor combinations. Everything from bold and decadent to simple and fruity. When it comes to containers, I like using these 16-ounce wide-mouth mason jars. This size gives me a good amount of room for my base oats and any additional toppings, and lots of room to stir without things falling out. And when you put the lid on, it gives a nice tight seal. I prefer the wide mouth over the regular mouth jars because they're easier to scoop out the toppings and easier to clean. Now, before we get into the 6 different delicious flavors, I'm first going to show you how to make what I call the base oats. This simple 5-ingredient recipe takes just a few minutes to prep and is used as the base for all of my overnight oats flavor combinations. It's super simple. Here's what you'll need. Into our mason jar, we're going to pour in half a cup of whole rolled oats. Make sure to use the plain old-fashioned rolled oats and not quick oats or steel cut oats, because those won't give you the consistency and the texture that you need. Next, let's pour in 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, which are packed with nutrients and give it a real pudding-like texture when it's soaked in liquid. Half a cup of milk. I'm using cashew milk, but you can use whatever you like. A 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt, which gives it an extra creamy texture. But you don't have to use this if you don't have any on hand. And 1 tablespoon of maple syrup as a sweetener, or you can use honey if you like. Give it a good mix for a few seconds, and then pop the lid on and put it in the fridge. Typically, they'll be ready to eat within 2 to 3 hours, but for best results, I like to keep mine in the fridge overnight. When I'm meal prepping for the week on a Sunday, I like to make a big batch, either with my jars lined up in an assembly line like this, or in a big bowl where I can combine all of the ingredients at once. For example, if I'm making a big batch of 4 servings, I just multiply everything by 4. So that means 2 cups of oats, a 1/4 cup of chia seeds, 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of Greek yogurt, and a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. The next morning when we take our oats out of the fridge, we can see just how soft and creamy the oats and the chia seeds have gotten by soaking up all of the milk. It becomes this almost pudding-like texture. If you find that it's a bit too thick, you can always add a splash of milk to thin it out until you get your desired consistency. And that's it! With this base recipe, we can eat it straight out of the jar as is, or we can add toppings and ingredients if we want to kick it up a notch, like I'm doing here with just a few berries and hemp hearts. Simple enough, right? Now that we've got our base formula down, let's look at 6 of my personal favorite flavor combinations. The first one is what I like to call banana bread overnight oats, because to me, that's exactly what it tastes like. To start off, we're going to build our base recipe by adding our oats, chia seeds, milk, Greek yogurt, and maple syrup. Then we're going to take about 3/4 of a ripe banana, and using a fork on a plate, we're just going to mash the banana until it turns into a puree and looks kind of like this. Now let's add our banana puree into our mason jar, along with half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Give all of that a good mix until everything is blended together well and we end up with a smooth consistency like this. Put the lid on and pop it in the fridge. When we take it out and we see that the oats have softened and absorbed into the liquid, we're going to top it off with a few banana slices, a drizzle of maple syrup, and some walnuts for a bit of crunch. And that's our banana bread overnight oats. That deep banana flavor really makes this one stand out for me. It's like eating banana pudding. This next one tastes just like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so that's what we're calling it, PB&J. First, we're going to start by making a raspberry puree. In a saucepan over medium heat, we're going to add about a cup of raspberries, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Then we're going to mash it up and stir for a couple of minutes until the berries have turned into a puree. Then pour it into a small container to let it cool for a few minutes. It should look something like this, like a thick jam or jelly. Once it's cooled down, grab your mason jar and scoop in a few spoonfuls of your puree. Then we're going to add a serving of our base oats that I've already pre-made and layer it on top. Then add 2 tablespoons of natural peanut butter, and then give it all a good stir. Snap on a lid and put it in the fridge. When it's ready, I'm going to top it off with some raspberries, some walnuts, and a drizzle of maple syrup. And that's your PB&J sandwich as overnight oats. For me, it's a real throwback to the PB&J sandwiches that I used to eat at school for lunch as a kid. Now, if you're in the mood for something tropical, this pina colada cup is the perfect overnight oats. We're going to start with the same base oats formula of oats, chia seeds, milk, Greek yogurt, and maple syrup. But the key extra ingredient that we're going to add here are pineapple chunks, about a quarter cup. I'm using canned pineapples here that I'm cutting into smaller chunks, but you can also use fresh or frozen. Let's add those to our jar. And then on top of that, we're also going to add 1 tablespoon of coconut flakes. Let's give our mixture a good stir to make sure our base oats are well mixed with the pineapple and coconut. Then pop on a lid and put it in the fridge. The next morning or a few hours later when it's ready, we're going to top it off with another quarter cup of sliced pineapple chunks and another tablespoon of coconut flakes. We'll finish it off with some chopped walnuts. And our pina colada overnight oats are ready to eat. I really like this one because it's light and refreshing and perfect for the spring and summer months. Now, if you really want to kickstart your morning with some caffeine, or if you just love mocha lattes, this one's for you. First, let's get our base oats ready with our usual ingredients. But this time, instead of using our usual half a cup of milk, we're going to scale that back to only a quarter cup. And instead, we're going to use a quarter cup of espresso, which is a double shot that I'm brewing in my espresso machine. You can use just 1 shot if you like, or you can use coffee. Then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder and a sprinkle of salt. Give it a stir, snap on a lid, and put it in the fridge. When it's ready to eat, we're going to top it off with some chopped walnuts, some coconut flakes, and some crushed chocolate or chocolate chips. And that's our overnight oats version of a mocha latte. Again, this one is great as an energy boost, or just as a way to make your morning espresso a bit more interesting. This chocolate peanut butter cup is an overnight oats that you need to try if you want to indulge in something decadent. Again, as I'm sure you figured out by now, we're going to start with our base recipe of oats, chia seeds, milk, yogurt, and maple syrup. And on top of that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of natural peanut butter and 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. Let's give all of that a good stir to mix everything thoroughly, and then set it aside while we prep our chocolate syrup. In a small bowl, we're going to combine 1 tablespoon of melted coconut oil, 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of maple syrup, and a pinch of salt. Mix it all together until you get this smooth, runny chocolate syrup. We're going to use this to pour directly on top of our oats mixture from before, so that it forms a thin layer of chocolate on top. Then throw a lid on and pop it into the fridge. A few hours later, when we take it out and add a few berries on top, we can see that the chocolate syrup has hardened into an outer shell. Here, have a listen. When we crack into that hard chocolate shell, we can see that it's literally like a chocolate peanut butter cup. If you've got a sweet tooth like me and you want to indulge a bit, you're going to love this. With this one, I tend to eat it more as a dessert after dinner or as a mid-afternoon snack. It's also healthier than just eating a chocolate bar. Our 6th and final recipe is what I call a lemon blueberry pie. Before we start, we're first going to grab a lemon, cut it in half, and then squeeze out about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Using the rest of the lemon, we're going to grate about 1 teaspoon of lemon zest to really amp up the deep lemon flavor in our oats. Then, starting with our base oats, which I've already pre-made, we're going to add about a quarter cup of blueberries, as well as our lemon juice and lemon zest, and then half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Give it a stir and mix it all together. Then throw it in the fridge with the lid on. When we take it out of the fridge the next morning, we're going to top it off with some blueberries, some hemp hearts, and some coconut flakes. And that's our lemon blueberry pie. If you want a refreshing citrus twist on overnight oats, this one is great for those hot summer days. Hopefully this video gave you some ideas and inspiration on delicious ways you can make your own overnight oats. They're healthy, super easy to make and be creative with, and perfect for meal prepping breakfast ahead of time. If you give any of these a try, let me know which ones you like the most. Or if you have any of your own favorite flavor combinations, I'd love to hear them. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. If you'd like to watch more, click here for another video. And if you enjoy my content, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.